Hi, I'm Helen Sharp from the Knitting School in Seattle, and this next video is about the double E wrap. For the double E wrap, I start a little differently. I bring the needles forward to working position, and then I'm going to take the carriage across slowly. And what that does is opens up all the latches. There's a little magnet underneath the carriage which lifts up all those latches, and then you can just flatten them all out with your hand and then bring the needles all the way forward to holding position. Now I'm going to grab my yarn and put some weight on it, and then I'm going to drop it down between the first and second needle on the left hand side, and make sure your carriage is on the right hand side where the yarn is going to end up. So I'm just holding underneath and wrapping above, again like the letter E, like the E wrap, but this time I go under 2 needles here, and then with my left thumb I'm going to hold that first wrap and wrap a second time into the first needle, but this time it's into the latch. So the first wrap is down the stem of the needle and the second wrap is in the latch. And then with my thumb, I'm just going to pull that needle back to working position, and it will knit off the first wrap. Now I'm going to go underneath 2 and back into the first latch and bring that new needle back. And what I'm looking for here is I want to be able to see a loop here. If it's pulled too tight, you can't see a loop. You don't want to see a massive loop. You just want to see a small loop there. And what tends to happen is as you're working, when you do one wrap, you're going to pull from the previous wrap. See how it's tightening up? And that's why I keep my thumb back there and just bring the new needle to it so that all the loops stay the same size. And so what we're doing here is just ensuring that that first row is not too tight to knit. So now I'm just continuing along, wrapping underneath 2, back into the first latch, pull the needle back. I want to see the loop. And if you keep your thumb back here, you can kind of feel if any of them start to pull forward. You can tell immediately and take control of it, because if they've pulled tight back here, you can't do anything about that. You can only really do something about the last couple that have been made. This happens to me a lot. I'll be zipping along and my hand will miss a needle, and instead won't have a wrap, my first wrap on that needle. And so I just need to get the previous needle back to the first wrap by just pulling on the yarn underneath, bring the needle forward a little bit, and then I'll bring that needle back forward. It's got its first wrap on, and then I can continue wrapping. So when you get towards the end, you're going to wrap around the last needle. The loop slides down the latch, and make sure your second loop goes in the latch, not down the stem, because you'll lose the stitch otherwise. So make sure that last one is in the latch. Take the yarn over to the feeder, and now you're going to put the comb on, and if I just drop it on there, I end up trapping that end. So what I want to do is bring this through the comb and then just tilt the comb so that the teeth go into the first wrap down there. That just will help that first row knit as well. If you feel like you've got any tight stitches in there, it doesn't hurt to bring them back to holding position for the first row. And then after the first row, just make sure everything knit properly. Make sure your comb didn't jump up and get stuck on the needle bed. And Carry on. If you don't work with a comb, just make sure you've got your brushes engaged and put the yarn in the feeder. Bring the needles forward to working position, making sure that the fabric stays back near the gate pegs. Knit across. And then repeat that for a few rows. Once you've got 4 or 5 rows on, you can continue knitting. And at some point, put some weight on the fabric. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in machine knitting, please subscribe to my channel and feel free to ask questions, post comments in the feed below. Thank you.